notice intent for 0 High Street. Construction of a single-family home and wetland crossing, which will continue from September 25th. So Mary, what do you have for this one?
Pull up the plans to remind you of what it is. And then I hope the rest of the plans are coming.
I think he dropped it, you. And I think he's online.
Is he?
Yeah, so he said he would be.
Let's check and see.
No, because I'm gonna text him.
And he told me, he called me and said he thought he was not gonna show up.
Yes, he said he would be online.
But all right, if you guys remember, this is High Street. There's a wetland crossing. One of the questions I had was about the wetland crossing calculation, and he redid it for me and sent a lovely little explanation verifying his numbers. And so even though I might be 10 feet off instead of I was 200 feet off last time, because I thought it was wider than it was. So we basically agree that it's approximately 600 square feet. So that's, he did put that together for me. He has approval now from the DPW about putting a curb cut in, because this is a brand, if you'll remember, this section of High Street was just redone. There's a guardrail there, which he's gonna have to go through. So that is not good. And then the DEP number, their comments were, how does it meet stream crossing standards? And then the replication area.
Yeah.
And I feel like he has, the stream crossing is pretty wide. He may not have actually gone through. I think he did show that. He did show the numbers. He should show the stream crossing area. Go back to the plan. So his old plan did not have the stream on it. So he outlined the stream, and he shows how the crossing is going to be wider, the 1.5 or 1.1 times the width of the stream. And it's a box culvert, so I felt pretty confident of that. It's got a replication area, which is double, but almost double. It's like 900 square feet.
Yes.
All right. So I think at this point, we're probably ready to close the hearing unless there's other questions that people have.
Do we have any questions or comments from the commission? Or any questions or comments from the audience? Hearing none, do we have a motion to close this hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, let's do a voice vote. Chris, aye.
Aye.
Alan, aye.
Mike, aye.
Marcella, aye.
Did we hear from Alan?
Yes.
Yes, aye.
That's a unanimous. Do you put your hand up, Alan?
No,
So
I
don't see that.
was going to say I always go after Tom, Chris, Tom, Alan. is the
Oh,
order.
And I
Okay.
try to go after Mike. So-
Sandy messed it up. She messed it up.
I always go after.
No, you don't. Alan.
I'm sorry, so who made, I was not paying attention. Who made the motion and who seconded?
I made it.
Okay,
Not sure.
Alan and I both think it's
at the same time?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's great if we always do the same order. So that might make it easier for Mary to do the minutes. So we have a unanimous vote of the commission to approve this or with intent or conditions. So good, that one is all done. So, and how's our time?
Our next hearing is in 3 minutes. Do we
Oh,
want-
okay.
Do you guys want to talk about, the order, the conditions that I put together? For
Yes.
this
Perfect.
and issue that. Let's see. So just pretty much standard, so specific to this one would be the wetland replacement area. Laurel, this is gonna begin, either before or during the construction of the driveway over the stream.
After the recreation area?
Yep,
Yes,
yep, and before you start work on the house.
yes,
And then it gets monitored spring and fall each year for 2 growing seasons. And you can have, well, he can have Matt Morrow do the reports, so that means you gotta call him and get him out there 4 times,
Okay.
right? Like right after you get it planted,
yes,
and then he needs to write a report. And then these are the standards: 80% woody species, 75% herbaceous, no invasive.
okay,
And then. Otherwise, everything's pretty much, so if you need to stockpile anything,
you wait from the,
yeah, okay, and then 7 bounds. To go in. And I didn't put this in the order, but I'm starting to think, just from my experience, is the bounds have to go in. Is this a spec house? Are you selling it?
yes, yes.
Bounds have to go in before the house is sold.
Yes, no, but will be, he already state
Yeah.
the covered area and the replication area. I'm gonna do that, he already put the well, where the
Mhm.
pool. I'm gonna do in phases, like, I'm gonna put it in this week and then I'll call you for inspection.
Okay.
Then we start the process of COVID and then, because we're gonna have 2 replication areas.
Right.
So we're gonna do one first and then,
Um,
yes, I'll
Uh,
be calling you probably early next week for the inspection.
yeah, so you can, I can inspect it, so once this gets issued, I can probably issue this tomorrow. There's still a 10-day appeal period
Yes.
before you can actually start cutting trees.
Oh,
But,
no.
but we can put the erosion controls in.
Okay, yeah, that's,
Anyone have any comments about that order? I did include an as-built with this single-family house. So
So
I,
any questions from the hearing none? It looks good, Mary.
all right, so I think we just need a motion to approve, to issue the order of conditions.
We have a motion to approve the
So moved.
and issue.
Second,
1 second.
Close the hearing.
Okay, let's do a voice vote. Chris, I.
I.
Alan, I.
Sandy, aye.
Go ahead, Mike.
I wasn't clear, Marcella, what the order was, but all right,
Well, alphabetically, I come after you, so
okay. I'll say aye.
Marcella, I.
Okay,
We've been doing it this way for like the last 2 years.
that's a unanimous vote of the commission.
I
Thank
thought
you,
it was
Mary, for bringing that up. Mary, do you have to stop by and sign the paperwork?
I only have two board members here, so either that, I do have some old sheets, signature sheets. Maybe I'll just use one of those, because that'll make it easier for guys. Eventually, we will run out of them, but I'll use that for tonight.
Thank Okay, now, thank you. We have 710. 710 for 54 Pleasant Street. Replacement of a drive
Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome.
call
Thank you.
continuing from. Thank you. Okay. Do you have two people here for this one?
Yep, hi, Sherry Bedrow is here. We
Great,
just got
thank
our. Oops, sorry.
Uh,
Okay, we just got our DEP number today. I think around
Oh,
3. So very excited about that. So the state had, I think, like 3 questions, but Mary, you have a copy of this. I'll exchange checks with you if you want. Apparently I paid the town $12.50 too much. And I owe the state.
Oh, well,
So I have their envelope ready to go. Here is your packet, an updated transmittal. And all the little thingies
Okay, sorry about this.
and all the certified mail. We got 17 signatures and 3 of them the post office was unable to deliver. Because nobody claimed them, so it's written on there.
Yeah, so before the state issued their comments, Kim emailed Sherry with some questions, asking for more information. So Sherry redid the NOI, updated the land under water body that was altered. And she wrote up a narrative.
Oh, yeah, that's it. I forgot about that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Demonstrating that the replacement meets Massachusetts stream crossing standards. And basically, we looked at the fact, I helped her with this a little bit, that the stream is, 400 feet from its source. The cost to, to get engineering done was prohibitive, et cetera, et cetera. And that it's very flat and there's, vegetation in the middle of the stream, so there's not a lot of flow. It just seemed like it was appropriate. But so the state, I guess, thought that was okay.
And at the time that I did write that about 8 or 10 days ago, the stream was completely dry. It still is completely dry.
It's dry. So now's the time to do it. And so the comments from the state were cold water fishery. That would surprise me, but maybe it is.
it's an intermittent stream.
Right. Yeah. And then just mitigation measures to stabilize the bank. Have the contractor, and this I think is probably the most important thing, is making sure that the level of the culvert stays the same and you're not it's not going up or down.
That it'll be completely level.
Yeah, that'll be completely level. And I think that is very important. That's a valid comment.
Absolutely.
So, and then she mentioned native plantings along the stream. Something we could ask her to do. The stream at the moment just kind of has herbs along it and then lawn up to it. Since it's a replacement, to me, it didn't seem like we would need to ask for any additional plantings.
I don't think so.
So that's where things stand.
Excellent. So, do you have any questions or comments from the applicant?
I don't have any questions and comments. I agree with, what's being asked of me. And I'll make sure that happens.
Excellent, okay, perfect. And how about, questions or comments from the commission?
No.
And do we have any discussion from the commission?
No, good.
So we have a motion to close this hearing.
So moved.
Second,
Have I a second? Okay, let's do a voice vote. Chris, I.
I.
Alan, I.
Sandy, I.
Mike, aye.
Marcella, I.
Now we did all that in a different order. So that sounds good. And do we have a motion to issue the notice of intent, the order of conditions as Mary wrote them?
Second,
Do a second. Okay, let's do a voice vote. Chris, I.
I.
Alan, I.
Sandy, I.
Mike, aye.
Marcella, I.
Excellent. That's a unanimous vote of the commission. So we're all set with this one. So thank you, Mary and the applicant. And Mary will let you know when this is.
I'll try to get it ready tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, you'll call or,
Yeah.
or, okay,
Yeah.
I can be here in 5 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Much, I enjoyed our Thursday time together. Hope we don't have to do this again for a while.
We're getting to be good friends right there.
Have a good night.
Me too. So now for reports, we have the administrator's report. And Mary, I just want to say that your packet is excellent.
Oh, I love her packets.
You're awesome, Mary.
Ditto.
Um,
It used to be, we had to do them.
Oh,
Before
packets.
your time,
I never had to do.
we never had that. We had the women.
Oh, that's a pain to do the packet on me. All right, so I approved trees at 4 Pierce Lane, and I didn't know where Pierce Lane was. It's off Glen Ave. Okay. And these trees were actually probably might not have even been 100 feet away, but I approved them anyway. So, large white ones. And
Whose property was it?
or Pierce. It was actually, it was not an Old Town person, someone actually moved here from France, so. That was interesting.
They must have read the rules.
Exactly. All right, so some of these pictures are from last week or last time when my phone wasn't working. So anyway, this is Claflin Farm, did a site visit there. This is the trail access. I guess this was part of the conditions on their sign. They put trail access for immediate residents only, no public parking. I guess that was what we intended. I can research that more closely, but if anyone has a flag on that,
No, I think that I asked and they
That's-
didn't object.
that's what they
I
wanted.
recall that, I recall thinking that was.
Claflin, is that off of, what's the Claflin Farm again?
It's off of Hopkinton Road. That's a really nice big houses.
Yes, right,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Because we figured the public could get in up, the road there.
But half is looking better.
Lovely.
And I think he's getting ready to ask for a COC. This is a swale that's like mostly grown in. They've had a lot of trouble with their swales getting established. All right, this one, 8 Stearns. He had originally contacted me a few years ago about where to put an addition, and I told him he couldn't put it on the left side of his house because it was next to a stream. So he put it on the right side. He tried, and his goal was to keep it 100 feet away. Okay, that's great, that's lovely, it's 100 feet away. So I wasn't really involved in the building permit because I remembered that it was 100 feet away. And then I looked on Near Map. Okay, so here's his stream. This is where he ended up putting his garage addition, and this is his backyard. Note the trees here in this picture. And then look what happened here. He went in and leveled his yard and put a retaining wall right next to the stream. So I was like, oh my gosh. And I feel like maybe I just didn't communicate with him accurately. Maybe he thought, oh, it's just building that I can't do it. I don't know. But I feel like we at least need a letter, maybe. Maybe we want to ask him to do an after the fact filing. I don't know. That one, so I don't, but the other problem is this may be jurisdictional under the Wetlands Protection Act. It's an intermittent stream. Above it, there's a teeny bit of well, it may just be intermittent stream and that's all it is. It may not be, and the house is older, so it would not fall under the bylaw.
Okay.
So they want it right now?
What's that?
Is there water flowing in it right now? Yeah.
I didn't actually look at the stream. When I was there, I would have had to go on his property to look. This is, but this is behind Claflin Farm. You could walk up from the back and look at it if you wanted to. So I may do that. I don't know.
What street is that on? Where is that?
Stearns, that is off Forest, you know, the forest that's on the other side of Hopkinton Road.
Yeah.
So it's a little road off of Forest.
Oh, all right.
So it backs up into Upton State Forest and it actually is.
So like the first
adjacent.
left when you go down that road?
Yeah, well, left and then another left,
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, I mean, left off the Hopkinton Road and then when you go down another left.
Another left, yeah. And then he's like, well, there's the cul-de-sac. He's on the right at the end of the cul-de-sac.
Yeah, this is Mike. I would, not having seen this, but I would support having requiring bounds and at least like a 10 or 15, maybe at least a 10-foot setback off the stream. Something along those lines.
I would agree with that.
What's the extent of the stone
let-
wall? It looks like there's a lot of it. Is it retaining the you know, the flat area, or is it a stone wall like a, you know, boundary wall kind of wall? Is it
Like-
made with
Yeah, and I
cement?
haven't been on
looks
site. It's just the aerial. It looks like he expanded his yard and is using
exactly, yeah. It looks like it was, can't tell for sure from here, but it looks like it was done so that they could level out a yard and have more lawn. And is that a real driveway that's going, or is just a construction access? You
Yeah,
know?
the garage was built this summer, so likely that's just construction access.
Yeah,
But, and they did cut down trees all along here.
they sure
too.
did, yeah.
Yep, took it all out.
Mhm. Your map was more useful than I thought. I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
Can we
And
have
I
them
just,
replant trees?
yeah, we certainly could.
Well, I thought you said the house didn't fall under the bylaw.
Well, that's the thing, I gotta figure out what the extent of the wetland is.
You're almost talking about an enforcement order,
Right,
or you are talking about, right?
right, so I know when I originally visited the house, he asked me to come and look, and I walked back in the woods there. And it seemed like there was BVW definitely in here. And this is intermittent stream or drain, he called it a drainage ditch. So it actually goes under the road and it comes out here. So I think I kind of need to do a little bit more research on whether it's jurisdictional or not.
If it's jurisdictional, then I think we need to do something. If it's not, then it's not.
If
You know,
it is
I'd be
jurisdictional, I would,
surprised if it wasn't jurisdictional. Almost any intermittent stream, there, if you look hard enough, there's a little BVW associated with it.
Okay,
You know,
all right. We'll call it that then.
Or if, especially you might be able to look at the opposite side from where from where the retaining wall is and see what
Yeah,
that looks like. Yeah.
yeah, it's true, and it was definitely, there was definitely wetland back there behind. For sure. All right.
I think if you put bounds on the house side and then put some trees in, that would be good.
Yeah.
That aerial view, there are a lot of little slash and stuff, or is that just the treetops we're seeing?
Wait, oh, you're looking at my report.
I'm looking at this,
I think it's just the treetops.
okay.
Yeah, and the blue, I think if you, that's the line of the stream, I'm pretty sure I added them just to make it more
I was
clear.
gonna say somebody penciled in the stream,
Yeah, that was me.
good.
And at the very least, it's likely, he's certainly like our new stormwater bylaw, which is not in effect yet. So this blue square, I had it over the garage to figure out the kind of rough square footage that he altered. He certainly would have fallen under the new bylaw. The old one, I think was 5,000 square feet, so he's probably under that, although he did a lot of alteration, actually. If you include this, then it was more than 5,000. I think we could catch him on the stormwater bylaw because he altered all that area. That would be the other angle to go for it. And it is true, he did originally reach out to me and talk, but I don't remember what we discussed about filling yards or whether we did. Maybe he assumed it was okay. Yeah. All right, so just Westboro Road, things are coming along there. This is the replication area, it's starting to come in. This is the crossing. Looking, everything there is looking pretty good. The houses are coming up. These are the ones that are way back, 2 of them. Second one. This is the one on North Street. It finally got dry enough for him to get in there and put the crossing in. And he's got the wetland replication area cleared out. Hopefully he'll plant it soon. So this was way back, almost a month ago. Maybe it's already planted.
Such a mess.
Has it been looking like a mess?
No, it's just, when they
Right.
first go in and
It
it
looks
looks
awful.
clear, it's like,
I know. Yeah,
doesn't look wrong, it just looks.
yeah. Cobblers Creek, these are coming along. This is looking into the new area that they cleared this summer. And I was trying to find the second replication area, which they pulled a bunch of mugwort out. It might be coming back, but it didn't look too bad. 123 Glenview Street, everything looks fine there. Christian Hill Road, this looks fine. This is the detention basin that Dennis was cleaning up off Stagecoach Road. It looks a lot better now. It's a huge detention basin. You can see this is the stone wall. They cleaned this whole, I guess it was all full of roses and somebody's garden. There's a swimming pool back there.
Oh, boy.
But it looks a lot better now. All right, 22 Elm Street. Marcella, I believe you brought this one to my attention. So this is right next to the chamber. We had written him a letter last spring and it took me a while to actually do a site visit and meet with him. So this is kind of how it looks right now. He had been in there with a little mini excavator and kind of cleared some of the brush out. He was gonna try to use the area, but once he realized that it was wetland, he's like, fine, I won't touch it, I'll just leave it. And I did not ask him to plant anything. The ground looks stable. It's gonna be covered with leaves soon. It's pretty dense forest in there, so I think if you put seed down, I don't know that it would be the best thing. My thought is that hopefully things will just kind of come in on their own especially with a covering of leaves, it should be okay. There's a stone wall, the stone wall there, wetlands on the other side of the stone wall, so that acts as kind of a natural buffer. So I think it's okay. But we could ask him to do some plantings. He was apologetic. He didn't realize it was a wetland back there. He's like, I should have known, I'm a contractor. And he seemed very willing to just not touch that area and leave it as it is. We had written him a letter asking him to appear at a meeting. He called and we did the site visits. So I just looking for your input. I'm happy with the way it is. Now that he knows what's going on, I don't see him going in there with his excavator again. So I had drafted, and I'm not sure
think
if. Go ahead, Chris.
Is there any possibility he would sell the property?
Oh, that property? I think he just bought it. He's new to
Okay.
the property. We could ask him to put bounds in, I guess.
Right. So I would just be worried that someone in the future would not realize that.
Yeah. So I think we would have we could ask him to do that. And that would be just kind of just like 2, I think would be fine. He's got a small yard. And so I had written a letter just kind of
Do you have
talking.
Do we need
Right.
more discussion about that? Motion to do that.
Yeah, if everyone agrees with 2 bounds, I can ask him to do that.
Okay. Do you have any other discussion about 2 bounds? So let's have a motion to ask them to put in 2 bounds.
So move.
At Mary's discretion. Have a second?
Second. Second.
Okay, let's do a voice vote. Chris, aye.
Tom, I.
Alan, I.
Sandy, I.
Mike, aye.
Marcella, I.
Okay, the unanimous vote of the commission. Thank you, Mary.
This is 99 West River. Alfonso has bought the property from whoever had it before. So I met him for a pre-construction meeting and hopefully he's good to go. The erosion controls are already all set up. I showed him the plans, made it clear about the bounds, and so he seemed like he understood. So I'll just, and I told him, and I think now that the building department, I can stop any sale because we can stop the occupancy. Now that we can do that, hopefully that'll help people from just selling without a follow.
Mary, how large is that property?
That's a good question. I think it might be over 2 acres. It might be 5. I don't remember.
Do you know how many house lots?
This is just one house. We approved this, I can't remember, about a year ago, 6 months ago.
Where is 99? Whereabouts is that in East River Street?
So you know where the ball field
Yeah.
is? So it's across.
Oh, right, like the sand pit out that way?
No, not down that far. On the right, across the little ball field.
The little,
Just
yeah.
after the river, just after
Yeah,
you cross the fishing area.
Right, so,
So there's like a
It's a
couple
soccer
houses
field.
that are set back. So the soccer field's on the left, whatever, and this is on the right.
right,
There's a couple houses that are set back.
yeah, and
This
then,
is just down a little bit.
okay, yeah, because the sand pit's out behind those houses.
Because in the foreground, this is all floodplain, so you can't build in the floodplain, so that's why the house is so far back.
Okay,
It's all sand pit down there, isn't it?
It's, yeah, it's
It's
all
all
very,
South Upton.
yeah,
South Upton.
it's all sand.
You know, I know the
So-
sand pit out there.
Thank
144
you,
West,
Mary.
just, as usual, it looks messy, but he's not his wetland line looks good, so that's all we care about, I guess. All right, and this was another agenda item on Rawson Farm Road. If you will recall they had a breach there of their erosion controls, and they had sediment that got into the wetland, and I made him clean it up, and he did a pretty good job. So this, I just went out there, it's been almost a year. They cleaned it up last December. So I thought it looked pretty good. We didn't have them plant anything because I thought stuff would come back, and I think it looks reasonable. If you look at this picture, then the one below it, this is from a year ago, it's about the same spot. You can kind of see where the soil was disturbed. Now things are, I think it's growing in reasonably well. So I just wondered if you guys wanted to go ahead and, there's an enforcement order, whether we want to lift that enforcement order or wait a little longer.
Bill Taylor has his hand up.
Oh, Bill Tiller, I didn't know he was here. He probably wants to talk. In the meeting. Sorry, Bill. Talk.
Ah, there we go.
Sorry, Bill.
Okay, go ahead, Bill.
He's probably just trying to get in the
Yeah,
meeting.
just trying to get the meeting problem. Yeah, I think it's fine to lift the enforcement order.
Do you have any other discussion? Or we should wait for Bill?
Is he muted or
think-
something? Does
I
he
think
wanna
we're good.
talk?
I got shut off.
Oh, you got shut off.
Oh, here,
I'm back. Well,
okay. go right
Mary, I
ahead,
was
Bill.
gonna mention that if you use the oblique setting in near map, it'll give you a better sense of that stone wall on the street off of the one that put in the retaining wall.
Oh, Stearns. That's a
Stearns,
good-
yeah. It looks fairly sizable, extensive.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so I think we might need a vote on lifting the enforcement. If you guys want to go ahead.
Okay, we have a second, the motion to
Second.
release the enforcement. Okay, let's do a voice vote. Chris, aye.
Tom, I.
Alan, I.
Sandy, I.
Micah,
Marcella, I.
Excellent. So Mary, can you write a letter releasing the enforcement order? Please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great. All right, do we want to talk about Kiwanis Beach Road? Here it is. All right, so I took this picture on September 26th. I noticed that I thought the erosion controls were not quite right, that they put the lawn in, and I did not notice at the time the bound that was right there next to the retaining wall, which I believe is the limit of work. And if you look at here, so I had made him move the erosion controls to where they were supposed to be at the beginning of the summer. See, here's all this disturbed area, which he has since gone in and seeded, and he moved them back. So he moved them back, because I made him, and I hadn't actually been on the property. I didn't go in back since May. I don't know when he moved them, but they're there now. And that was before they started cutting the trees. Okay, so in this picture, you can see a few of the trees. And then here we are, here's that bound again, same day. I think there's another bound over there. Here's all the trees. Okay. And then this is yesterday or Monday, I went out there and this is what it looks like now.
Lovely view.
Yeah, nice view, isn't it? A lovely view. So
Wow.
really this whole swath, basically from here all the way like 100 feet worth, he went in and removed all the undergrowth and including, as you can see, these are like 4, 5, 6, 7-inch trees, all the little ones he pulled out. And if you go in, I didn't count the stumps because there were too many, but you know, they're all over the place. Cut. Here's a
Wow.
gorgeous shot of the open area. So it was a really big
That's-
clearing. They left a few, but all the big ones. And it's true
That's
before there
great.
not a lot of view of the pond, but that was, as you can see, you can kind of see the pond through there. And I think you know, this section here was a little bit open and we were gonna allow a swath. But in fact, we can look at that.
That's really a lot.
That's kind of
Yeah,
like.
it's ridiculous, really.
That
It's
he
crazy.
went way, because if you remember, so look, they were not gonna have a big backyard, they knew that, like it's 16 feet. So he's gone way into here with the backyard, and then he cleared all this in here.
Yeah.
And this was 100-foot no disturb. And we let them put this in for the well, and they did not end up putting this little piece in, they could have though.
Yeah, I remember we said we could do a path to the dock,
Yeah,
but not, I thought we made it clear you can't clear the lot.
yeah, so,
Well, I think you should just restore it the way it was.
I think it
Plant
should
all sort of bushes and
shrubs and stuff.
shrubs and.
I wouldn't supposed to find,
And definitely some vegetation which would not be make it not visible to see the lake at all now.
yeah, I was thinking, and this is my opinion, he should hire a wetland scientist to come up with a restoration plan, and they can go out and count how many trees that he cut down. And figure it out, and that'll cost him a fair bit. And then actually implement it before we issue our occupancy.
yeah, I mean, it should be, yeah.
And
I mean, cause that's, I mean, you already had to move the erosion control and then moved it again, even after you told him where to put it. I mean, he clearly was doing that purposefully.
Yeah.
He knew he wasn't supposed to, in my opinion, he knew he wasn't supposed to and went ahead with it anyway. So I'm never a big fan of fining people, but I would be, I would approve a fine and, replication.
as stop work order. Is the house ready to move into? Are they ready to move in?
So I don't know, they have not asked for an occupancy, and we can hold that occupancy up. The building department won't issue it until we're happy.
And they can't live in it
And they
until.
won't be able to sell it without an occupancy.
So this is a house for sale?
This house is for sale. So we'll be able to slow it
That's
down.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't just some family that wanted to see the lake.
Right, I mean, he's doing that to make the house more
Millions,
And
valuable.
he's trying to.
He's trying to
doing-
increase the value of the home.
Yeah, stop work, restore it, that's whatever it takes.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, there's.
It's
Alright.
enforcement issue.
So we can do a enforcement order
Yeah,
with a
I
stop
would
order.
think, Mary, for every one tree you cut down that you still have to should replant 2.
Yeah, I'm not there, but I think it should be, I think it should be replicated.
it's like
Um,
hundreds of them.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be exactly what it was. I'm not opposed to, if it makes sense, wildlife species, blueberries or something like that. I mean, I'm shrubs and stuff. I'm okay with, not doing 2 to 1. I just think it should be redone and it appears to me, it's my opinion, he did that simply to increase the value of the home. When the bounds are clear, Mary asked him to move them he did, and then he moved them back. So that to me is purposeful, and I think it needs to be replicated, and I believe there should be fines imposed to that.
I think it's a slap in the face to all the people on Tap Pond, Pratt Pond, all these ponds who have respected what's been asked.
Yeah, no, yeah,
He could improve his view somewhat without doing that, so.
Yeah.
anyway,
could have proven.
That's my opinion.
Wasting your time.
Call from Woden L.
Who's?
That's just background, somebody's
Oh,
background noise.
Background noise.
Oh, somebody.
Okay, so.
It's,
what do
it's
we-
Mike. I just want to weigh in. I would support a fine as well. And, part of the restoration they should document how many cut stops there are. I don't know if we want to say 2-inch and above or 3-inch, something along those lines. But they should document the impact. And then I agree too that, shade tolerant shrubs would probably be a good mitigation for this.
We could ask him to put in a few big trees too.
And a few, yeah, where it makes sense, where there's some gaps in the canopy, or maybe
Yeah,
places where the trees won't grow up and become an issue, future hazard trees near the house.
right.
Look for opportunities, maybe along the pond.
So
I would not be particularly kind to this guy because
Right up to the bounds,
right,
Right.
yeah.
right up to the bounds, never mind 16-foot. Guess we can't do that.
And I really feel like, so like, Mike, I like what you said about documenting, make them hire someone to go out there and document all the damage. And then come up with a restoration plan that,
Yeah, bring it to us,
and bring
for
it
us to
to,
look at it.
that we should approve.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Now, as far as the fine goes, how do we impose that, and how does that work?
Yeah, I would have to research, we haven't found since I've been here that,
We don't do that.
The fines
We
we've
haven't
done
done
have
that.
been
We did
very,
it once,
no, we've done two.
did we?
Yeah, we've done two since I've been here.
One on North Street.
One on North Street and then Alfonso.
Oh, well,
I mean, those are the
This is
two,
a
and
big
then actually three, because then there was a one down by the brook. Bartlett Landscaping.
oh, yeah,
Everyone voted to find them but me.
did we find them?
Yeah,
Probably. did.
yeah,
and
they
did
were
they pay,
normal.
did they pay?
Yeah, I think it was like a $300 fine.
That's the thing, I think this needs more than $300.
Yeah, but I don't.
That's
know
why
if it works.
if you hire a wetland scientist, that'll hopefully cost them a couple
You- I would suggest basically a dollar value per day until this is resolved.
Yeah, I'm not looking to make this crazy, but I think a fine should be placed to show the importance of, what he did. It's not acceptable. But daily fine.
In the right,
Well,
in
and
your
they're hard to
letter,
find.
I would think in the letter, using the word egregious actions of the applicant.
Egregious, that's a good.
From the teacher over
That sounds bad.
Elementary special needs, not many of my kids used egregious.
Oh,
Well,
God.
So
Who is the
we're gonna
developer
vote
here? I
to,
forgot.
this is, Marcel Alves, he did 24 East Street as well, but that's the only two times I've worked with him.
I haven't heard of him, so.
Yeah, I think he may be newer, so he may not really understood the brevity of his situation, I don't
Well,
know.
that was crazy.
Yeah.
You can't just move, after you tell him to move
I know,
the stuff, you can't just move it back and clear everything. He doesn't have to, that's pretty self-explanatory.
right.
I met the guy when we were doing 22 and 24 East Street. He's a smart guy. I mean, he knew what he was doing here, I think, at Pratt Pond.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to increase the value of the
I
property.
mean, it's, I don't think it's anything to do with, communications. I think it's just willful in this case, unfortunately.
Now,
He did a
Well,
good job.
People could do what he wanted. A lot of them do.
so you're, are you going to research the fine stuff or what?
we can start with, I think we should start with enforcement order and a letter. I can research fines and
Yeah, because,
we can say in our letter, you know,
That we're researching the fines.
Yeah.
right, a fine will be imposed or
Yeah.
whatever. Cause I'd like him to know he will be fined.
yeah.
And then you're right, hiring the wetland site. All of that, I think, is important.
Right, yeah.
We could ask, I was thinking I would ask my daughter, she was on the DEP, what the fines would be. But you could call somebody and
Yeah,
ask them what.
The fine would be under the
Yeah.
bylaw, right? Rather than the DEP. Because
What are the fines in the bylaw? I don't even know. what they
yeah,
are.
if you give me a chance to look them up, but I believe we have a daily rate we can find that, but I gotta double check it.
It's probably pretty vague. So
Well, it sounds as if we might consider just imposing the maximum fine, in which case we don't really have to decide now what that's going to be because it's somewhere in paper, but I would support maximum fine.
That's good. Then we can figure it out later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
Mary.
imposing day-to-day fine is really practical.
right.
I think we're better off saying, this is the fine,
Mhm.
whatever it is, and then you know if it gets paid or not paid. And you hiring the scientists and not allowing the occupancy permit. I think that all.
And the
I think
2-year,
that works.
A 2-year,
2-year monitoring,
right,
yeah, I would say definitely. And I think maybe we, before the sale of the house goes through, we negotiate some kind of holdback to pay for that. The house will probably be sold before the 2 years is over.
No one can move in it until it's allowed, right?
Right.
It's hard to buy people are unlikely to buy a house they can't move into.
Right, it depends on how strict and I hope, the lawyers would hold to a strict, I think they, a bank won't give a mortgage without occupancy. So I'm hoping that, I'll be watching for that. And, this came in through a police call, so whoever reported it,
a police call.
well, someone
Yeah.
called the police.
Well, because other people who live down
Right,
there
yeah,
know that they
right.
weren't allowed to do that.
Yeah,
So it's a slap in the face for those people.
yeah, it really is.
So Mary, in the wording, I would think the fines would be commensurate with the violations he performed.
Ooh, another good term.
You have a newsletter.
Good words. Big ones.
They sound mean. And could you show us the letter before it goes out, please?
Yeah, I can email, I'll try, well, hopefully we'll get it out either tomorrow or early next week for you guys to review, and then just email it around, right? And I'm gonna call him anyway tomorrow, and just let him know what's coming, so he knows what to expect.
Who's our building inspector now? Oh, that's the first person to get to.
Yeah, well, the building inspector, have none right now.
Yeah, so that's my thing.
So Mike is, Antonellis, it's kind of, I already talked to him about this, and like, there's already a note on there, do not approve an occupancy for this.
Yeah.
So, I think they will.
I'm looking at the bylaw, what it says about fines. It's or bylaw regulations. It's $300 per day, with each day basically considered a new violation, or it's $300 per violation with each day considered a new violation. So you could conceivably fine him $300 a day until this is resolved. And says the fine should be paid to the town of Upton.
So, but Mike, like each violation, so like, moving the fence is a violation, putting grass on, I mean, we could,
Right, yeah.
however we want to add it up.
Yeah,
But-
I was, this is my thought only, I was thinking about like $1,000 fine. That to me, and with all the replication and all the stuff, I think that sends a message. I'm not looking to do $300 a day, we're never gonna get it, I mean, so it takes them a month.
I wasn't, I'm just telling you what the bylaw says. I wasn't proposing 300 either. But I might propose something like $50 a day, just to, so he gets his butt moving to get this resolved quickly. And when you still have a planting season, we're almost at the end of the planting season.
Well,
We could-
that's reasonable to me, like $50 a day than like 300. That's more reasonable. As far as I'm concerned.
And could we put a cap on it? Like you said, $1,000, so it's like until, $50 a day until he reaches the maximum, of $1,000 or whatever amount we decide on. That's it, just a possibility. I'm happy to just keep asking for $50 a day.
No, and I like what you said too, Marcella, because when it gets out of hand, then nothing gets done. I mean, everybody understands that, so
Just walk away from it.
you're right, so I'm open to a cap, and the cap could be more than $1,000. Like maybe 1,500 or something, and I understand Mike's point. We're running out of time to plant,
Right.
it needs to get done. He has incentive now to save himself some money, so I think to me, that seems like a reasonable thing to present.
Yeah, and here's a question though, I mean, technically, we could hold that occupancy all the way until spring.
Right.
And that would cost him a ton of money, because
Right.
he's sitting on his house,
Right.
can't sell it.
And I'm not looking to dump all over the guy, but I want it done right,
Right,
I want it fixed.
right.
That's what I want.
I have a question for anybody who knows more about construction than I. Is it possible for him to correct this before the year freezes, before?
If we
Like
have
the
him
growing
hired
season.
someone,
Yeah,
they might not be able to get to it for a month.
right,
So that's I guess that's an issue with that.
right.
So it's likely to winter over the way it is.
Well, it could, I mean, we don't know, but again, having a cap on it, I think makes some sense, and if it has to go to the spring, say fine, it's $1,500. We start this again in the spring. Again, that's my thought.
All right, a cap and then reevaluated after that.
Yeah, if he can't get it done, I think you should try to see if he can get it done, but you're right, if he has to hire someone, maybe they can't get here. So, I think we should be a little flexible.
Right. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the
Maybe
bigger
not.
wetlands out a few months, I think. You might be able to find a smaller guy, but I feel like we want someone that's reputable.
Maybe in the letter, we could quote the bylaw as Mike did, let's say, however, we would be more reasonable and say this much cap, as long as we're seeing progress. And get it done fast.
Reference the bylaw.
All right.
So
Well,
you know how.
Just a thought.
Book here.
One other thought. Perhaps what we could do is ask for submission of a restoration plan, and fine until the restoration plan is submitted.
That's a good idea too.
That'll get them. And then once the plan is approved, then we could allow them to, plant in the spring without, incurring additional fines. Because I don't think they're going to be ready, by really do planting, this growing season. Maybe he's really incentivized, but it's getting kind of late.
I think that's a good idea,
Do
Mike.
we want him to come to a meeting?
No, we want to see.
I don't know, I mean, send up her, if he wants to come to a meeting, I'm happy to have him, I mean,
Yeah, leave that up to him.
if he wants to discuss it or whatever. I think sending a letter,
This,
and what Mike suggested, $50 a day until we receive the plan. Giving them, the option to do it in the spring. Not allowing an occupancy permit until everything's done.
Will he be
that's
able-
perfect.
This is almost done.
Yeah.
I think he is like literally ready to sell within 2 weeks, so I have a feeling he's gonna be like hot to trot on us once we.
Yeah. So maybe you'll get it, maybe you will.
He's got the grass seeded and everything, that's like, the driveway's paved, he's like. It's probably pretty close.
He hurt himself.
Hopefully he'll never in Upton.
Yeah,
Maybe another time.
yeah.
So do anything else, Mary?
How long will it take you to be able to reasonably get this done, Mary?
The letter,
Yeah, it's a
I
lot.
don't know. I'm gonna call him tomorrow and tell him the letter's coming.
Yeah, right, that's a good idea. No, that's a good idea,
And then, cause I wanna get these orders out for, I know, especially for Sherry, because she's been waiting for
Right.
a month to do
Yeah.
everything, and but then I'll jump right on the letter.
Yeah, no, I think letting her know tomorrow by phone is a good idea, and then you get to the letter, when you get.
Yeah, I'll certainly do it by Monday, well, I guess Monday the holiday. Tuesday. I'll get it done. I think. that
Was the letter out? With some kind of return receipt?
Yeah, usually if I do a letter like that, I'll send it both ways with a return receipt and regular, because sometimes people don't. And then if I have an email, I also email it. I just send it every which way.
Good idea.
Whichever one is fastest.
Well, send them all, good idea.
Okay, so do we, I mean, I guess we're not doing a stop work on the house
No,
progress
right.
itself. We're just,
I would if you could.
No, I.
Is it
I don't-
done?
the outside work, they're not really doing any outside work anymore. It's all inside. I don't know what they still have to do.
I'm not for stopping them working on the house, I just,
I think we're gonna slow them down. I think he's almost done, and this is gonna slow him down enough as it is. He's
right,
because this is gonna take more than a month. It's gonna take a few months for him to get this done.
sure.
So. Feel like.
Do you need a motion, Mary?
Oh, a motion to, yes, a motion to, so we are gonna give him an enforcement order, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so a motion for an enforcement order and a letter with fines as discussed.
Sure.
And what did I say? We said hiring someone to come up with a restoration plan. And he needs to count, look at the damage,
Document the.
document the damage.
Want a tree count.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
I sorted and I'm like, forget it.
Yeah, you just.
No,
you
because
need to
once he
do-
has to do that, he's gonna be like, holy day.
So do a motion to authorize Mary to do all of those items.
So moved.
Second,
Do a sec,
second,
okay. Thank you. Let's do a voice vote. Chris, I.
Tom, I.
Alan, I.
Sandy, I.
Mike,
Marcella, I.
That's a unanimous vote of the commission. Thank you, Mary, for drafting that letter and getting it out every way possible.
All right, well, we can take a, that's the end of my agent report. There's a few other things on the discussion items, but Chris, take it from here. What do you want to do next?
Administrative report. You have meeting minutes.
Yes, we have meeting minutes. We have meeting minutes, which is sent out, and then there's also a voucher.
Any word on new members?
I haven't heard anything. We got a few likes on the Facebook posts. That's it.
You sound like my kids now. Never get likes. Ooh.
Somebody did, but like 2 people out of like however many. I don't, you guys don't need to see the minutes on the screen, do you?
No.
No,
So to approve the minutes from September 25th, 24.
So moved.
As a second,
Here anyway,
wasn't
so
here.
I don't care.
Yeah, it was in here.
there's a voice vote. Chris, I.
Alan, I.
Oh,
Abstain?
Who seconded it? Was that someone online, Mike or Marcella?
I don't think anybody did.
I heard a second, but I don't remember who. Actually, was it Sandy? Who's
No,
abst-
it was Alan.
Here. So. I mean,
Oh, Chris
approve
motion.
them and. Right, made a motion and then. Was it Alan?
Yep, second. I did.
Second, all right.
Okay. Voice vote. Chris, I.
Tom abstain.
Alan, I.
Sandy abstained.
You're
Mike.
muted, Mike.
You did, but we could read your lips. Marcella, I.
Mike, aye, sorry.
Okay, that's a majority vote of the Conservation Commission. And Bill, you have a hand up? Or is that from before? So,
Yeah, I have some
Mary, what
updates.
documents?
I have some.
Okay,
Lake Wildwood, I'm walking the property with the heir and the personal representative. On Friday, they're still exploring whether or not there's access to the property. On Fay Mountain Road, the owner and the son are still deciding what they'll keep and what they'll offer to the town. That decision is not likely until next year, but it appears it'll probably be, they'll offer about 35 acres, 35 to 40 acres to the town. Good thing is it's would be adjacent to Forest Heights. Forest Heights MLT submitted the application and on time, great. And the grant administrator, DCR management, and me, we walked the site last Friday, so they're moving fast. Mechanic Street parcel that abuts Stephens in the District 9 schoolhouse property was appraised at $2,500 an acre or $15,000. I sent the appraisal and the comps from the Lake Wildwood appraisal to the realtor, so they'd have a good idea of how they arrived at that number. I haven't heard back from them. I sent her that information last week. The 47 Mechanic Street has been sold, and I had talked to the new owner when she first visited the property, and she told me at that time she wasn't interested in selling the back land to the town. And the St. Gabriel land, I have no update on. That's it. Any questions?
excellent. Any discussion?
No.
Okay, nice job, Bill. Okay, so I know that we have documents to sign, Mary.
Yes, but we'll just do,
Sign sheets.
yeah, I'll just do the pre-signed sheets and I'll use your signature stamp on the voucher.
And so just a vote on the expense voucher.
You guys want to see it? Or you vote on it?
And then we have update.
It's just mileage and then dues, MSMCP, which is the Municipal Association of Conservation Professionals, whatever.
Please, really,
That's $20, it's a deal.
yeah, right, gotta say,
Make a motion to pay the bills.
second,
Okay, let's do a voice vote. Chris, I.
I.
Alan, I.
Sandy, I.
Mike,
Stella, I.
Okay, that's unanimous vote on the Conservation Commission. Okay, now we have the financial update, Mary.
Yeah.
It looked like we had money.
So we haven't spent a ton of money out of our expense account. We still have $8,000. And a lot of money in the bylaw accounts, wetland protection and wetland bylaw, which I guess I need to talk to Joe about. We'll let it sit there for now. And then these are the obligations. I think these were coming out of Conservation Fund and land stewardship, so some of those funds will go down.
you know,
Excellent.
could I talk about a stewardship issue? This might be a good point. I think I don't have the minutes in front of me, but I think probably it was land stewardship quite a while ago voted to hire Greg Trussell to do some mowing at Steffens and at Haworth Glen or Glen Echo. And I was just about ready to actually try to get a hold of Greg to see if he could do it soon, because it's been fairly dry. And I think this fall might be a really good opportunity for him to actually get up there. It's been a couple of years since he's done any mowing. So I don't know, Marcel, do you remember, I thought it was 2,000, 2 days worth of effort at Steffens and half a day at Haworth Glen. But does that sound right? And I'm not sure if it was the commission or land stewardship who authorized it, but maybe just the simplest thing, would be to have a motion to authorize the mowing.
Yeah, I think that we did, that's what we voted on. And there, we should just look back in the minutes and see what the dollar amount was. The question was, it's a concern about turtle, when they're gonna go into hibernation, and are they still active?
I think the turtle season's pretty close to being over. It's not over. I mean, it's starting to get really, into 40s at night. So I think we could talk to Greg and get him out there in a week or two.
Oh, he'd be happy to. Yeah, I'm sure he'd like to do it.
The forecast, is not much rain, so we'll try to get him out there before it starts to get wet again.
But if you want to reintroduce a dollar amount and vote on it again, that's fine.
Yeah, I would make a motion to hire Greg Trussell to mow fields at Steffens and Haworth Glen with a cap of $4,000.
Second.
Okay, do we have a second? Okay, let's do a voice vote. Chris, I.
I. Alan.
Alan. Sandy,
Yep.
I.
Aye.
Mike, thank you.
Marcella, I.
Okay, that's unanimous vote of the Conservation Commission. Anything else for land stewardship? Okay, so if we go down to
Actually,
the.
I haven't. I think I sent the Conservation Commission the notice we received from the Massachusetts Department of Agriculture regarding Heritage Park and the lanternfly,
Yes.
spotted lanternfly. I did talk to somebody at MDR and there's no imminent plan to do any spraying. He said the earliest that they might even consider doing something would be next year sometime. The other thing is that it also requires us to control what goes on and off the property. Now, there's really we can do that from a DPW perspective in terms of the equipment we bring on and the stuff we take off. The other thing is we should probably post something in the kiosk alerting visitors to the fact that they could be carrying the lanternfly off the property, and they should do something to be sure they're not doing that.
What would they do, Bill?
I'd have to go back and look at what MDR recommends in terms of doing that. There may be very little, but if they pick something up and, like a piece of wood or something, and they decide they're going to take it with them for some reason, that's a risk.
Yeah, I read the information you sent, and they didn't seem to be very specific about that. They did talk about vehicles getting on the property and off the property, and that could be a problem. Construction materials, etc. But I don't remember reading anything that said what people could do to, I don't know, keep it off them or something.
Well, yeah, so, but that's a good point. One of the things is don't take anything off the property without inspecting it first. Now, that's the other thing is that the notice requires us to train people, and the training is the matter of watching a Zoom training video online. So somebody, like I said, absolutely somebody from the DPW. And I'm happy to watch it on behalf of basically Concom and find out from that whether or not there are any more specific instructions on what you might say to visitors to the property.
I'm all for that, Bill.
Kill them, stop them.
Hey, Bill, do we know anything about how this came about? Did a citizen report it to the
Well, the
department?
notice itself says that they went out and inspected. Now, whether or not,
But did they inspect it as a result of a report, or
I have no idea. It's not.
it's just kind of curious that they would pick up. I know there's the other thing I want to say. I know there's some tree of heaven there,
Which we
and-
cut down. It was cut down recently.
Okay, that's good. That's good. And I was leading towards how recently were they cut down, Marcella, first?
3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, okay. Well, what I was wondering, this might be a question for Dennis, is the town has an applicator, right? A pesticide applicator licensed. What you might want to do with the tree of heaven, well, first off, cutting down the tree of heaven will not kill them. They respond very well to cutting. They're just going to grow back. But perhaps next year would be to cut them and then paint the cut stumps with a herbicide. Use your town applicator to do that. There's also a tree of heaven growing at the schoolhouse site on North Street, which I noticed, and I was going to ask Dennis if he could have somebody, take that out and paint the cut stump.
As far as I know, when that tree was cut, the material was left on site, but I'm not 100% sure about that. Is it possible that tree of heaven is already infested and?
Well, it's possible. I mean, it's a preferred host.
Yeah.
Certainly.
They like grapevines, don't they?
Pardon?
Yeah, grape,
Oh.
apple.
Oh yeah, they have a wide range of hosts. But tree heaven is considered to be a preferred host, and they're both the insect and tree of heaven. They're both native to Asia. So anyway, just I mean, does anyone have any problems if I send Dennis an email and maybe ask him to take care of the one on North Street, and then the next spring, as you begin to get sprouts coming back up from the ones from the tree heaven that were cut at the park, also treat those.
The question I have there, the area that was where it was cut is the area where we're looking at planting the pollinator garden. So are we gonna have Tree of Heaven poking up through?
Chances are, yeah. I mean, it really doesn't. You can't really kill it with cutting the stems, at least unless you do it very, very frequently over a period of time. Just one cut, won't do it. You will get sprouts coming up.
Okay, so will this kill everything else around it too, or
No,
will is it specific?
It's very targeted. I mean,
Okay.
you paint the cut stump soon after the stump is cut.
Okay.
And it's not a spray. The herbicide might get washed off a little bit from the stump, but there's actually been people who've done careful studies, and you get a few feet away from the stump, and the concentration of herbicide is undetectable in soil. I mean,
So,
the other
yeah.
option at the park would be just to, repeatedly cut those sprouts for probably several years, and you eventually you starve the tree system, the underground stems of carbon, and eventually it will die. But it's just you need to just keep up with it for at least a couple of years.
That's what we've been doing with the knotweed, and we've
can work.
put it back, but it still comes up. So, but it is a lot of being persistent throughout the seasons and getting out there every year.
And the herbicide has a very high kill rate, the cut stump.
Do you need to make a motion for those actions?
Actually, does anybody know who has responsibility for Heritage Park?
We're
it the
still
selectmen?
hustling about. The current select board isn't really aware of the actions of the select board that took over this, the park. It's some gray area between the select board and the historical commission. So
it's gray depending how you read the town meeting vote back in 2004, was it, I think, or 6?
Yeah, 6, I think.
It's not super clear, but the park was placed under the control of the historical commission.
yes.
And for quite a few years, the historical commission actually did the management. When Barbara Burke was alive, she spearheaded a lot of things that happened there. The cleanup, the meadow area down near the pond was, also the junk was there, and she worked to get that removed. She worked to get the house burnt down. So for a while, as long as Barbara was active with the historical commission, I think you could say the historical commission was managing the park, but afterwards, it's kind of gone to
Well, there was apparently
become a bit of an orphan.
There's some, I don't really know the full story, but there was some disagreement about what was going on, or there was political, I don't know, but that's what the select board just kind of said, okay, we're taking over, and nothing has happened there since, which is sad. So we're, there's this small group of us trying to remedy that, but it's, the select board, the current select board really doesn't have any idea what this is, what they're supposed to be doing, which I don't know what anyone is supposed to be doing except doing maintenance, and the DPW's mowing, and we've got volunteers doing, plant management, but we don't really know what is, who to turn to as a supervisor. The DPW has been really helpful. It's, if anybody's managing that property, the DPW is by mowing and keeping things under control there, but I don't know who's got authority over it.
Well, there's a couple of things just, to throw out. One is, there's a conservation restriction on the property that Metacomet holds. One of the stipulations in the CR is that a management plan for the park be prepared.
Right.
And that date has expired by several years already. So, but that requirement could conceivably give somebody, a reason to go before the select board and try to work out who's managing the park, who's responsible for the management plan, that sort of thing. But that is an outstanding item.
Yeah.
We tried to kind of remedy it several years ago when we did, remember when we did the request for termination for the park? We tried to come up with basically a laundry list of all the management actions, that might happen there. The other thing, just while we're talking about the park, is there's a post and rail fence along, if you're walking in along the left-hand side.
Yeah.
It is very poor condition. Someone needs to really repair that. Someday, someone's going to lean on that fence and take a header, 3 to maybe about 6 feet, depending where they are on the fence line. So that Barbara Burke, that was another Barbara Burke project. She got that fence installed, but it's time for someone to fix it. And I did a Metacomet site report. Metacomet inspects our CRs once a year. And last year when I did the site report, I put that information in it and transmitted it to the town.
Yeah, and I mentioned that to Dennis and John, but I don't think DPW is the party that is responsible. They more or less have, they mow it, but I think at some point they were told they needed to do that.
Yeah, understood. Understood. I understand, Bill. I'm not pointing fingers at anybody, but just it's an outstanding issue and it's a safety concerns,
I wholeheartedly agree. And what it does, it says to me that somebody somewhere has got to take responsibility for it and do all of the work that's associated with hiring a contractor to do the fence, negotiating with the DPW to, add that to its list of responsibilities, the pesticide application and so on and so forth. And I think that conversation probably starts with the town manager. Because now we have the fence and now we have this pest issue, and we've been put on notice by the state that we need to do something about it.
Right.
So.
Yeah, so that's like
conservation talk
you've got the pest problem, you've got the fence problem, and the management plan deficiency. So maybe take all those to the town someone, but who's going to do that? Who's going to take it to town manager? Someone take it to town manager and try to, and also, no, those are the three.
Well, I've been working with the volunteers who've been trying to beautify the park a bit, and I can certainly take that to the town manager. One of us can. So why don't we go from there?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Good plan. Okay, so we go back to discussion items. We had Dogwood West Trails.
Yeah, I put that on there. I had drafted just kind of a letter to reopen the discussion with them. Just I can pull it up on the screen.
Yeah, you sent that around.
Yeah, I don't have to put it up, but if people had a chance to look at it.
I looked at it. It was fine.
You thought it was fine. Yeah, I think it summarized pretty
Yeah.
much what I think our understanding was. And I was just gonna, I'm almost not even wanting it to be so formal. I'm thinking I'll just put it in an email to them.
Yeah. Yeah, and then see where it goes.
That was
But I wanted you guys to all read it.
Knowlton.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, how about Knowlton Circle?
That. So if you remember, the detention basins at Knowlton Circle were full of trees, so I reached out to the homeowners association and said, you guys, A, you don't have a certificate of compliance, and B, your detention basins are not in good shape. So they did actually hire an engineer. And they, Cornerstone Engineering, and they went and reviewed it. This was a copy of their review, which they had sent out to me a while ago, but it kind of got lost in email when I was on vacation. And so I'm just bringing it up now because I was like, whatever happened to that? And I found it. And so they came up with a kind of plan, which this all looks good to me. It's just ongoing maintenance. They're gonna, they want to clean out take down the trees, etc. Maybe I should just read this to you. The catch basins need to be cleaned, and they have actually, I have an email, and I can read parts of that email from the condo association. They did clean. What did they do? So I think they cleaned all the catch basins. Yes, they've cleaned all the catch basins. 3 of them needed repairs, and they needed to redo their parking and their roadway. So as part of that repair, they fixed the 3 catch basins. They fixed a berm, but they're not done. So they still haven't dealt with the detention basins and some other things. Let's look at so this is again, the operation and maintenance plan that they put together for them to follow. And I've looked at all of it. It looks good. And they also submitted to us. You guys might be interested in this. This just, it listed all the catch basins and what was required. And inspection ports and stuff like that. So some things they haven't done yet. And so in the email, she says, because of the cost for replacing the asphalt, they're gonna basically put it off until next year. Because for their asphalt, they had, $20,000 worth of, replacement of asphalt. And the catch basins they cleaned the catch basins. That was $1,000. At any rate, they're slowly adding these things into their budget to take care of. So I was just happy that they're slowly working on it. And
Yeah, I mean, it's been like that for a while.
Yeah. So
Next spring, what's the big deal?
right. So so in the spring, they're hoping to clean out the trees in the detention basin. And so I just felt like they're making good progress. And maybe once they have that detention basin cleaned up and they're on a regular program of maintaining, then we can look at issuing a certificate of compliance for this section of Knowlton Circle, because that's why this came up. They never.
So when they say cleaning out the trees, the detention basin, what does that entail? Is that just cutting them down, or is it pulling stumps? I don't even know what it looks like.
I'm not exactly sure what that entails.
I was just curious.
I think I don't know that they're gonna pull the stumps out unless they have to. I think that their goal is to be able to get it mowable. I think that's the goal, so they can maintain it. Okay, so that's just kind of an update, and if people have any other comments, let me know. Otherwise, I think they're making good progress.
Excellent. How about open enforcement orders?
Open enforcement issues. I've kind of put that in as, well, so this, now that it's quieted down, I've got that list of, at the end of my agent's report of open enforcement issues. I don't usually harass these people all the time, but I called every single one of them last week and I didn't hear back from any of them actually. So, but including reaching out, but like 343 Mendon Street, 22 Eames, there's a couple of them that are, and the people at, the sawmill ladies, they're supposed to, give us a determination, so I'll maybe give them a few more weeks, call them all again, but we may have to at some point do something, especially the sawmill people. He's been fighting us on doing anything there for a long time. And I don't think we ever issued enforcement order there. And all we asked them to do is to do a determination. I think I don't know why he doesn't want to do that. It's not that much work. It's just getting a permit for it. So those are kind of that's just just an update on that, so.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now we're at, I think we did the other three.
Oh, yeah, the other three we took care of in, agent.
Okay, so anything else that people can think of? So, great job, Mary, for keeping track of all these miscellaneous little details. And so, with anything else, nothing else coming up, yeah, our next meeting is October 23rd. We have one meeting. Nothing else is coming.
I know it's been super quiet, no new applications for almost a month now. Happy.
Wow. Well, that's good. It gives us time to catch up on other stuff. So, with that said, nothing else. So, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second,
Okay, let's do a voice vote. Chris, aye.
All right,
Sandy,
Alan,
I.
out of order.
Okay.
Marcella, aye.
Way too slow, all of you.
Good night, everyone.
Vote of the commission.
Good night,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Good
Have a
night.
Good night.